Okay, we're going to go through the text of Mishnah Brachot, make sure we've got the meanings down. All right? So, here is the first two sections. The first line, Tfilat HaShachar Ad Chatzot. Tfilat HaShachar, you know that Tfilat is the Amidah, right? Tfilat HaShachar, therefore, is the morning Amidah. Then we have Ad Chatzot, until a particular time. Chatzot, meaning halfway, chetzi, in this case, noon. Um, so the Tfilat HaShachar, until noon. Clearly, there's something missing there. You have to add in the present tense verb. It is until noon. It is said until noon. Or, to make it clearest to us, it can be said until noon. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad arba sha'ot. Rabbi Yehuda says until 4 hours. Now here there is more that is missing, because by itself, this statement just until 4 hours. What are you talking about? Obviously, then the Rabbi Yehuda is responding to the first line. Tfilat Shachar is until noon. Rabbi Yehuda says that the Tfilat HaShachar can be said until 4 hours. He is disagreeing with the first opinion. Now, we have terms for those two things. The first opinion, when there is a machloket, a disagreement in a Mishnah, the first view, if it doesn't have a name attached, is always called the Tana Kama. It just means the first Tana, and it's usually assumed to be the main or majority view. And then there's a machloket, and one individual Tana says, no, I think differently, and gives his view. We have to be clear on what it is they're arguing about. They're arguing about one specific question. What is the end time for Tfilat HaShachar? What's the latest time you can say it? They're not arguing about anything else. They're not arguing about should you say it, or when the beginning time is, or anything else about it. Only, at least in this Mishnah, about the end time. Okay. Now, go back here, and we will see the second line. Tfilat HaMincha ad ha'erev. And the first thing to notice is the parallel structure. What is parallel structure? It means that the structure of this sentence looks almost identical to the structure of the first sentence, also in red above. That tells us that this is the second clause in our Mishnah. So the first two lines, the one in red and the one in blue up here, are a unit, section 1. Section 2 is going to look parallel, just not about Shachar, but about Mincha. So, Tfilat HaMincha ad ha'erev. This is now easy because we have figured out what the structure means. Tfilat HaMincha is said, or can be said, until evening. What is until evening? For the moment, we will read that as meaning until sunset, where sunset is assumed to be the end of daylight and the beginning of evening. Maybe it's not exactly as simple as that, but for the moment. Again, we have the same structure with Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad plag hamincha. Plag hamincha, you hopefully figured out, is a time, an hour and a quarter or so before evening. Exactly what it refers to, it doesn't matter to us right now. What we need to understand is there's an anonymous view, the majority view, the Tanakama, it can be said until evening. And Rabbi Yehuda says it, Tfilat Mincha, can be said only until this time a little bit earlier than evening, called Plaga Mincha. Okay? Again, Tanakama here, followed by Rabbi Yehuda disagreeing. Part 2, Tanakama, followed by Rabbi Yehuda disagreeing. We're going to skip to line 4 because line 4 is also parallel. Doesn't look exactly parallel, so it's a little bit trickier, but it in fact is. V'shel musafin kol hayom. V'shel musafin means, in fact, and you should just know this by the fact that you know that there are 4 tefillot. Shel musafin means the tefillah of Musaf, or the amidah of Musaf. And again, fill-in is or can be said, kol hayom, all day. Why does it have all day where the others only have end times? Slightly confusing, but if you look at Rabbi Yehuda, it becomes a little clearer. Rabbi Yehuda says, and again, exactly parallel to the previous 2 sections, Rabbi Yehuda says, until 7 hours. What's until 7 hours? Of course, you can say the Tfilat Musaf until 7 hours. So why did the Tanakhama say Kol Hayom? Presumably, it's the same thing as Ad Ha'erev, except that, unlike Mincha, Musaf can actually be said as early as you want, assuming that it's after Shachri, that you've done Shachri, whereas Mincha has to be said in the afternoon. Nonetheless, the same structure. So we have these 3 sections. Tanakama, about Tfilat Shachar, and Rabbi Yehuda giving his end time. Tanakama, about Tfilat Mincha. Rabbi Yehuda giving his end time. Tanakama, about Musaf. Rabbi Yehuda giving his end time. And then we have the outlier, Tfilat Ha'erev Ein La Keva. That's a weird phrase. It has nothing fixed, which in this context, what's the topic of this whole Mishnah? It is times. So you have to assume that this means it doesn't have a fixed time. So number 1, it doesn't give actual times. And number 2, Rabbi Yehuda is missing. There's something different about this line. We will come back to why it's different. For the moment, just notice that it's different. And I will say one thing about it, which is that one of the ways that it's different is that while they were able to count the hours of the daytime using sundials or whatnot, nighttime was usually kind of more of an undifferentiated time of darkness. So that's one way to think about that. Nonetheless, there's something different about this line, something that will that we will need to return to.